Greetings, Neuse Little Pod listeners. This is your host, Matt Gore, reminding you to please like, follow, subscribe, and share the podcast on your available podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and any other podcast app you can think of. Share our episodes on Facebook and let us know what you think with a comment or review. Now, please enjoy the show. Good evening and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. This is an audio program talking about the backstage antics and stories of running a small town community theater on the banks of the Neuse River located in Smithfield, North Carolina. We lovingly refer to the old girl as the Hut. We hope you enjoy. Good evening and welcome to the Neuse Little Podcast. I am your host, Matt Gore. We're back after a brief summer hiatus. And we have an excellent episode for you as per usual. I am sitting here today with several members of the Johnston County Arts Council, and I'll be introducing them in just a moment. But first, I wanted to mention thank you so much to the community in the Smithfield and Johnston County area, and probably Raleigh and surrounding counties, for showing up to Willy Wonka auditions. Wow. We had 83 people audition, which, Mita, I know we don't have the numbers for every show, but that feels like the most in a long time, right? In
a long time.
Yes. Maybe Wizard of Oz back in the day or Music Man was around those numbers, but it's been a while, folks. It's been at least almost 10, Music Man was almost 10 years ago, a little bit more maybe. So it's been a while since we've had that type of turnout, and Sean has a mammoth of a decision to make. Well, that's why we have to go ahead and start the show, because they're actually doing callbacks tonight on our stage. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Break a leg with that, Sean. I know. He had like the deer in the headlights look, like the Vietnam stare, like, oh my God. Especially that first night with 50-some people. All right. But that's going to be down the line. We'll have some people on from Wonka and talk about all that. But for today, we have these three lovely ladies sitting with me, and I'm going to introduce them, starting with across from me. Please introduce yourself, madam.
My name is Joyce Kilpatrick-Jordan, and I'm here representing the Arts Council as well as the Neuse Little Theater, since I'm involved with both and have been involved with both for several years.
We're happy to have you on the podcast again. And then we have our two newbies right here. They've already been chatting up a storm, so I'm really looking forward to hearing putting some of those conversations on the internet, as it were. And you are, ma'am?
I am Judy Boyette. I'm the president of the Arts Council. And I'm very happy to be here to talk about this wonderful book.
All right. And we had, I was chatting with her in the parking lot. We were the first two to get here today. And you are, ma'am?
I'm Evelyn, and I'm also with the Johnston County Arts Council. I'm also the committee chair for our project that we're talking about today, which is Johnston County Creates. Well,
that is great. Let's talk about this book. I have it here in front of me. This is a beautiful cover. This is gorgeous. So who designed this cover?
So the cover is, the background image was one of our artist submissions. She's a spotlight artist in the book. Her name is Angie McClure, and she's a Smithfield writer, potter, painter. Mm-hmm. And she submitted this wonderful multimedia piece, which just popped out at everybody. We were trying to represent many, many art forms. And as you can see there, she's got music, she's got painting, she's got paper mache, all kinds of art in there.
Let's tell our listeners where we can find this book. Where can we purchase this book about Johnston County?
Right. So primarily the book is we'd like you to purchase it through the Arts Council. Mm-hmm. It is one of our primary fundraisers for the coming year. And your purchase directly through us allows us to maximize the amount of money that will come back and go into Johnston County arts programs. You can also purchase the book online at Amazon, though, especially if you have friends and family long distance that you'd like to tell about the book. That's a great way to purchase it, too.
Is Johnston County Creates, is this focusing mainly on artists, or is it all types of people from Johnston County?
This book represents all areas of the county. There are artists in all 11 towns. Every area of this county has wonderful artists, but we also included nonprofits, 501c3s, grassroots organizations that are arts related, any art related person who does anything, music, dance, theater, if they draw, paint, do all kinds of things. There's every type of art represented that you can think of, and there's all ages in here. There's people in here who we saluted people from the past who brought a lot to the arts community and are well known for what they contributed to the arts community in Johnston County. Lots of suggestions from different groups and different people of who we might could include and salute from the past that meant a lot to the people here in Johnston County. So there's everything you can think of in this book that's related to the arts.
All right, now let's talk about the genesis for this project. How did it come along, Miss Joyce?
Well, I'm going to let Evelyn speak to that
Okay.
because it was actually, I think, her baby, her brain child, that it was suggested to her that we needed to do something to represent the 50th anniversary of the Arts Council, and which is interesting since we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of the Little Theater too.
Yes, Neuse Little Theater.
But there
Nice.
was a lot of conversation about what can we do that goes beyond what we typically do from year to year, just having or sponsoring.
What is it you
certain-
typically do?
Well, there's a lot of things that the Arts Council does, and one of the reasons that I'm excited about it is they provide a lot of funding to the Neuse Little Theater through the grassroots every year. And we've been doing this for many, many years now because I've been filling out those forms for many, many
Yes, you
years.
have.
But they do give us grants based on our season and based on what we're doing. It's a matching grant. And then in the last 2 or 3 years, since we have been COVID touched, we have been getting extra grants which have allowed us to do things here in the theater that we couldn't afford to do otherwise. So, it's a win-win situation. The Arts Council supports the Neuse Little Theater. Both of them support spreading arts into the county, giving people that might not have an opportunity to hear certain kinds of music or see plays or appreciate someone writing a poem or a book or illustrating something or painting. You've got to bring it to them some way, and the Arts Council is kind of the umbrella for doing that. I mean, they sponsor the Wednesday
Lunch bunch.
lunch bunch that I went to yesterday and heard a piano, a violin, and a cellist. That was a beautiful thing. So they are very active in trying to.
So, Miss Evelyn, you said this was your baby, right? So talk about that.
Well, I won't deny that. Joyce actually said that paved the way. But the idea for this project really came from a project I participated in a couple of years ago through the Johnston County Heritage Center. They put together a literary journal, and I'm a member of the Triangle East Writers Group as well here in Johnston County. And that experience for me, just having a short story get published, was a lot more exciting than I anticipated. And in thinking about ways that we could replenish some funding for the Arts Council, which, during COVID we lost a major long-standing fundraiser called the Art and Food Festival, which is something that I experienced as a newcomer to the county and just thought it was a wonderful way of bringing the whole community into the arts. When we lost that, we were really looking, as Joyce said, for something to replace it. And the idea of publishing something kind of stuck with me. I didn't want to repeat that project with the writers group per se because we were already working with the Heritage Center on their book. But it struck me that wouldn't it be great to give artists, visual artists, actors, dancers, a place to publish their work too. How many times does somebody that's a visual artist really get to see their work in print? And I have written and illustrated and created, produced, published my own children's books. I've got 2 storybooks and a couple of activity books. So I knew the process, and I knew it was something that maybe I could do. But for a project like this, I also knew it would need a lot of people to participate. So I kind of threw that idea out to the Arts Council, and people jumped on it.
Great. Fantastic. Now, what were some of the particular challenges of putting this book together?
I would say, number one, where would we get content? How would we get content? And secondly, how would we possibly produce the book?
That is a problem I run into on this very podcast. What am I going to do this week? No, we already talked about downstairs in the cleaning.
Well, imagine wanting to collect stories and photographs and, compile them into a sort of, all-encompassing book. The only way that I could conceive of doing that was to do it, enlist technology, do it electronically. So we made use of an online survey program owned by SurveyMonkey called WooFoo. We created you don't have to put the names in there. You don't want to. Sorry, I don't want to sound
they
like
don't
a
pay
sales
advertising
pitcher.
on this podcast.
No, they're not paying us. We paid them. But we created survey instruments online, and then in order to get them out to the public, we created a Facebook page from scratch. We used grassroots social media campaigning. So we would post announcements about the project, and every one of the committee members would share that out, and word got out eventually. We have a Facebook page following now of over 300 people that are interested in the project, and I hope that's about to grow exponentially as the book actually gets out.
Well, it is beautiful. Now, let's see. What was your main contribution to the book? I know you got stories.
This committee has been meeting for over a year. So we got together and, of course, brainstorming and trying to figure out what's the next step and what can be my part in this. How can I help with this? Because I've got a degree in language arts, but I'm not really a writer. So, but if you look at this book, you are immediately bombarded by the color and the beautiful photography, and everything in here is just a mind overload of beauty and all the creativity that you see in here. Grassroots recipients are in here, and there's commentary from other community leaders in the area who have written about it, have looked at the book, and put their words of wisdom in the foreword about how they love it and what it's meant to them to see this. And we don't think there's another book like this around here. There's not been a book like this anywhere.
Not in this area, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when we were first starting out, we went out to search to see if there was a book anywhere that followed the same path, the same format, and we could not find one. So it's very unique to cover all of the different arts. So it not just a painting and not just someone writing a short story or a poem, but anything you can think of. I mean, from the charcuterie board to cake decorating and sewing, anything that involves creativity, we try to cover. We've got people that run dance studios, everything you can think of is covered in it.
And the words in here are not our words. They're their words. So when they filled out the form, we just took that. We may have, adjusted here and there to make them complete sentences or whatever.
What's the criteria to get in the book?
They just had to fill out the form and send it in.
And pay their fee.
It was minimal fee.
I think too that we were looking to see, what kind of stories people wanted to tell. So the application was in the form of survey questions. We asked kind of 5 open-ended short answer questions. And it was not required to answer one or all of them, but we thought that, whatever we got back, if we got somebody that wanted to, just answer 1 or 2 versus somebody that would answer all 5 very fully, that would make different varied formats and make the stories more interesting. And in fact, we were just blown away by what we did receive. So we worked very hard to be very inclusive. The original scope of the project was nowhere near what you're looking at now. We envisioned
Like
maybe
289 pages.
we envisioned more of 100, maybe
Yeah.
125 pages, and more of a
Hardback book.
magazine
Yeah.
kind of layout. And really, with all the additional committee input, tried to make it inclusive, like I said. So it really grew and expanded. Took a lot longer than we initially thought it might, but I think the result was well worth it.
I haven't. Of course, I looked up our organizations,
Of course.
and I flipped through it, and I noticed Doris Cannon and things, people I know, and
Yeah.
things like that. But I haven't sat down and really read, everybody thing. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But what was amazing to me is the fact that the sheer amount of talent.
It's amazing.
And apparently this is not everybody, because not everybody wanted to participate the first time around. But just the amount of talent that we have in our county is amazing.
Well, the 3 of us have been on the board for quite a few years. She was on before I came on in 2011. So, I thought I knew about everybody.
Me too.
But whenever I saw these applications, I'm like, she lives in my town. I don't know her. I need to call her. So I've gotten to know people and read their stories, and we're expanding. So I know everybody in this county.
These are your neighbors. and
Yeah,
your
they're your
friends,
neighbors. They're your
church.
friends.
Yeah.
And if you need a mural artist or you need somebody to come sing at a wedding, then you'll find them in this book.
The surprises that came out
Yeah.
with additional people, artists from all areas of the county that we didn't know existed, which is one thing that we kind of hoped we would be able to increase the Arts Council's involvement and reach. One thing that amazes me is just the inspirational stories that came out. People in the book are not just amateurs or professionals. They are people who really have a beautiful connection to the arts. There's a story of a woman who had a traumatic brain injury who turned to painting to help reconnect her brain pathways. And she knew that she was a chiropractor, so she knew that would be something that could help heal her.
It helped her in her
Yeah.
in her physical
In her
therapy.
recovery,
Yeah.
in her
Art
brain
therapy.
recovery. Yeah, in her brain recovery. So there's just lots of different amazing stories. There's a woman who creates memory bears. Customers come to her with clothing samples from loved ones that have passed or loved ones that they want to just honor, and she sews them together in bears that's a just a forever keepsake that was a piece of your family. There are all sorts of people that just have either by education been lifelong artists, and then there are others who late in life decide to pick up the paintbrush because they've experienced some deep loss, and it was something they felt compelled to do.
We know about that here. We know what I mean by that is we know about artist therapy. Yes. So many people that come here and do shows. I can only speak to it from that end, the theater side of things, and there's so many more branches of the arts. But so many people mention you don't understand, this is free therapy for me to,
Yes.
and it really does help that there's an outlet in the community that can appreciate that. That's really very special. You mentioned some people that were in this book. Let's talk about some of your favorites or people that you'd like to highlight. You go ahead.
Well, at the beginning of the book, we have highlighted the Hobarts, who are John and Frankie Hobart. 50 years ago, now a little bit more than 50 years ago, they had the idea with some other people of starting the Johnston County Arts Council. And we have a whole section in the front dedicated to the Hobarts. And it's a very interesting read about how they envisioned what the Arts Council was going to be and how it's changed over the years. So that's a very good article. There's also, like we were talking about, some tributes to some famous people who have lived in Johnston County. But one thing we decided to do was also there's the Johnston County Arts Council. Part of what we do is focus on youth and young people. We do the Artists in the Schools program where we fingerprint and background check artists who can go in and do curriculum-based activities with students at the schools. And we're just getting ready to kick in at the beginning of the school year now. But so we decided we would salute one school that does a lot for the arts. So this year we chose Triple S because they've done a lot of murals around the area in Selma and Smithfield, and just a lot of honors that have been coming to that school for the arts over the last year that some of us had heard about. If we ever do this book in the future, we'll choose another school and salute some more young people. But any type of art that you want to find, you can find it in this book. And at the back of the book, I want to mention there is information about, there's a, what would you call it, an index? Directory of people that are in here, and you can find out the information about the different artists and how you can contact them.
Awesome. And Miss Joyce, who is one of your favorite people that's in this book?
Well, kind of touching back on what Judy talked about, I like that we were able to pay tribute and show some of the people who are no longer with us, but that had a very important part. And one of them is Doris Cannon. And Doris Cannon, as the little theater knows, our awards each year are the Cannon Awards, named after her. She was worked for the Smithfield Herald and was very instrumental, both getting the Arts Council up and running, but right after that she became very instrumental in getting and promoting the Neuse Little Theater. She would write article after article, and she was here every time that we needed her, and just for years and years was such an important part of our organization. So it was great being able to see her. And then other people like Bill Joe Austin and Margaret Lee, who ran the Heritage Center before it actually was the Heritage Center. You know, people that were very important, and we don't need to forget them. I mean, they're the ones that laid the basis for us now to be able to celebrate with a book.
That's right.
Miss Evelyn, who are some of your favorites that are in this book?
Well, I'd like to say that as a person who's been in North Carolina and Johnston County for a little less than 10 years, I'm a relative newcomer, and one of the things that struck me about this area was just the amazing people that were welcoming, and Judy in particular. I joined a weekly painting class with her to learn how to illustrate my first storybook, and it just really resonated with me that the people were so supportive of your arts journey. Nothing was a waste of time. There was a purpose. Judy introduced me to a lot of different people and brought me aboard the Arts Council. So I'd like to mention another newcomer to our area who is Nancy Pitkin. She's a pianist and a singer, and she studied in Nashville to learn how to really write, professional songs. And now she writes her own original sound healing music. She posts it on her website, and she teaches sound healing workshops. In fact, our writers group is meeting a week from tonight, and Nancy is the guest speaker, and she's going to lead a little sound healing and songwriting workshop. So to me, it's the where this book marries together the people that kind of founded and trailblazed arts, and just all the the organizations and programs that we have here today, and those of us that are welcomed in, new to the fold, that are encouraged to bring our own skills and talents and such as they are, and share them, and develop them as best we can.
In the book, one of the questions was about what would you say to an up-and-coming artist. The positivity in this book, if anybody needs inspiration, just read what the artists have said about never giving up, and keep trying, and don't throw away your mistakes, keep your first paintings or whatever, and compare later how you've improved. And it's just so many life lessons that people have written about because they have their own stories. So it's a very positive, uplifting. Every story in here is very positive and uplifting.
One of the ways that the committee is planning to celebrate the publication and launch of this book is a celebration for the public and all of the artists that are in the book. It's going to be Tuesday, October 24th. It's being held at the Selma Civic Center, and it's being sponsored by one of the organizations that's in the book, which is called Activate Selma. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a grassroots group of business owners in the downtown Selma area that is just trying to bring each other up and forward, much like we do in all of the arts here. So that event is going to be artists with maybe a table displaying some of their artwork, handing out their marketing materials, greeting the public, and being available to sign copies if people want to go around and get some signatures on
And
their
the
book.
artists want to meet each other, because some people are saying, I didn't know this person, so we're going to meet each other and compare notes and talk about our stories and our lives and our journeys.
Our own little salon
Yes.
here right in Johnston County.
And we'll be able to give out brochures and information about the little theater,
Right,
because
exactly.
we are featured
You
in
are.
the book.
Which brings me to my next question. I would be remiss, this being the Neuse Little podcast, if I didn't at least ask where we were featured in this book.
Turn to page 110.
Now, if everybody will please turn to their textbooks and page 110.
Right in the center.
Got you centrally located, that's right.
We have a picture from the show I ironically previously mentioned, The Music
The
Man.
Music Man.
One of the best sets, maybe
Awesome set.
probably the best set we've ever put on this
See,
stage
Reggie.
in 50 years. That is Battle of Shaliford.
Which was written by a North Carolina writer.
Ed Solomon? No,
Simpson.
Ed Simpson, yes. A North Carolina-based writer, Ed Simpson.
And came to see it.
Came to see the show. Classic. We see
You got 6 pages.
We see 3. Yeah, we got spoiled in this.
I know.
We got 3 stalwarts of Neuse Little Theater, and that is Darius Rose, Reggie Parker, and Sammy Smith. Behind them is Brenna Martin, and I'm sorry, buddy,
Lance.
Luke.
Lance. Sorry.
Lance
Capral.
Lance Capral. Thank you. Very kind.
And
Very
then there's a
kind
beautiful picture of the theater.
person. She's never looked better. She's never looked better.
You can actually see her.
I know, you can. You see that tin roof? And even Benson Little Theater's in here too.
And
So-
Matt has a vested interest in the Benson Theater.
Yes, I do. I'm currently directing a show there at Benson. I'm literally in the just like Willy Wonka. I'm literally in the process of casting a show there. They're doing Clue on stage there in the middle of October, and that reminds me that I need to go. I need to tell you the Willy Wonka dates.
Was that wrong?
What?
No.
I just never did it.
He never put it in
I
there.
totally.
I was going to
no.
say, wait a minute.
You
were-
I totally whiffed on it. So for the dates for Willy Wonka, our upcoming show and it's a season premiere of our 49th season here at NLT, are September 22nd, 23rd, with a matinee on the 24th, 29th, and 30th. We are now accepting credit cards at the door. We do not have reservations for credit cards yet, but you can still make a reservation if you call 919-934-1873.
That's right.
And make a reservation. Just leave your name and number and how many people are coming, which, honestly, folks, we had 80 people audition, so I suggest you go ahead and get on those reservations. This is a kid's show. This is a well-known show.
Friendly.
We will sell out. Get on it now, folks. Take it. Go
Is
ahead.
there a matinee for that show?
Yes.
Yeah, the 24th. Sunday
24th.
matinee at 3
This
o'clock.
Sunday matinee, we will be talking about this book on the front porch during intermission
Oh, okay.
or before.
Okay.
You will get some people. You will get some.
Well,
you're going to sell some books.
People who come to our shows are the very same people that support the arts wherever and in whatever form you can find them.
Ladies, I have enjoyed talking to you this evening. It
Thank
has
you
been
so much.
special. This has been it's been hectic for me. I have a job and I'm casting a show now, and it's been a little oasis for me, and it's been been very pleasant. So I appreciate that.
It's always fun.
Thank
to
you
talk
so
about
much for
art.
having us.
Yes.
Once again, the title of the book is Johnston County Creates, and you can get it anywhere books are.
Amazon.
Amazon. But
Amazon.
Johnston County Arts Council.
we prefer you go through the website of the council, right?
Yes, we're just about to post a link to the website, but an email has gone out to the artists. We'll be sending out a press release shortly, which will go to many media outlets.
So just to be clear, this book is not available for. You can't order this book yet, or you can?
You can on Amazon.
You
yeah.
can,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, just want to be clear about that.
It's that new.
It is that new. It's
Yeah.
Because
We've
I bought mine.
we've done a soft launch,
Yeah.
but we have not really hit it hard.
Okay.
That will
Yeah.
not happen till the October 24th.
If you have that link, can we pass it on to people?
Yes,
to use?
Please.
absolutely.
Then that's what
yes.
I'll do is I'll make
Yes.
sure
Yes.
it's connected to the podcast so anybody who might be interested can
Awesome.
find it.
I'd just like to make you aware, we published the book actually at the end of June quietly. So, nobody was really aware that we did that. The reason for that was so the book could be nominated for the 2023 Reagan Old North State Award for Nonfiction. So we are one of 14 nominees, and that award is announced in October shortly before our event. So fingers crossed. Maybe we'll have an announcement at that.
well, good luck
meeting.
to you. Did they announce the winner, or do they narrow the list down, or what?
I think they announced the winner. I believe the date is October 15th.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks. We're going to say goodbye now. We got to get out of here and let the hut be used what it's meant for, and that's me, and that's supposed to be creating theater. So, thank you, Joyce, for being on the podcast today.
Sure.
Thank you, Evelyn, for being on the podcast. Thank you for creating this. Thank you for this. This is your baby, and it's beautiful. So,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
Evelyn.
so much, and thank you for helping us get the word
And
out.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Judy. You were lovely as well.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, folks, come see Willy Wonka. Get those reservations. It's a busy time for theater. It's going to be exciting. Come see our season premiere. They're gonna work hard on it. And I didn't say it weird because I had nothing to do with this upcoming one, folks. So, but please support your local community theater
That's
here
right.
at NLT.
And artists.
Yes, and artists. That's
Of
right.
all kinds.
In fact,
All kinds.
since the relationship between the Johnston County Arts Council and Neuse Little Theater is so important and vital, we will be advertising, as it were, this book on our podcast at least for the rest of the year. So I'm going to record you a little promo,
Woohoo.
Wow, thank
and
you
we are
so
going to
much.
put it at the head of our podcast. Not the first time we've done it. So it is the least we can do because this relationship is very important and vital to the community.
Oh, we so appreciate that. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
All right. For Neuse Little Podcast, I'm Matt Gore. That's Mita Toole.
Yellow.
We'll
Goodbye.
see you later. Bye. Credits for the show. Your host and creator is Matt Gore. That's me. My producer and editor is Mita Toole.
That's me.
Music is by Cody Walker. Please go look up Cody on Cody Walker Music on YouTube, and he's also on Cody Walker Music on Facebook as well. He's local, so and he's got a couple of albums out. Easy listening, John Denver type of guitar voice. That Cody Walker. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.